Much, Mr. Speaker, and may I welcome and thank the staff of the Minister who are on the floor here today to aid him. I know that's...
Do you wish to go back and forth as has been the practice?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I know it's not always your happiest day to be here, and I appreciate it. Some of you, I'm sure, enjoy it, but others not so much. So I'm sure the Minister appreciates it, and I appreciate it. And if we have additional staff in the gallery, my welcome to them as well. So thank you to the Minister for the overview. I did my best to take notes, and I'm afraid I got a bit lost at a certain point, so I may not have taken down every fact and figure that he gave. So if I ask for a statistic he's given, please forgive me. But I do note and agree that there appears to be a whopping big decrease in the budget this year, but as we set out, and I was quite specific about setting it out last year, there was some $30 million included in the budget last year, which actually made the cuts look not so bad, which were specifically capital improvements, and it was flow-through money from the federal government. And of course, this year that money's not there. So it looks like the budget dropped by a lot of money, and it in fact was not that bad. You take out that it's like 30,600,000 and something, and when you take that out, you've got fairly stable funding in most areas. And I will ask specifically where I see an area where there's been a significant drop. But I will point out to anyone listening or following this at home is that the funding for this department goes a long, long way. And a small, what looks like a large percentage is actually a pretty small amount of money here. So, you know, you can have 21% representing only $1 million or something. So it sounds like a big percentage, but it's actually quite a small amount of money. And the groups that are funded through this department stretch that money further than anyone could believe possible. So keep in mind that I think we all get very, very good value for our money out of this particular department. Just a couple of observations. The Ministry support services are up what looks to be about 25% from the 2010-11 budget, and I'll come back to that a couple of times. Corporate initiatives, and I remember us talking about that last year, but again, it's up 65%. Neither of those, I think, are particularly direct support to artists or art organizations. It's administrative money, so I will come back later and question that. The creative and multimedia industries, as the Minister noted, are up $2 million, which represents some 8%. Bringing that fund to $8 million. But the administration for the Alberta Foundation for the Arts appears to have gone up by 41%. Again, not reflective of money being delivered straight to the artists. And I'll come back to the Wild Rose Foundation because it appears to have gone up 91% from last year's budget. Now, there's no additional funding from government here, so it seems like a really optimistic projection. Community and voluntary support services is down, but again, that is reflective of that federal capital money. Under Heritage Historic Sites and other museums is down by 8%, which is going to hurt them a lot. And the Alberta Historical Resources Foundation is also down. So some organizations out there are going to be trying to squeeze more money out of what's that frame? You can't get blood from a stone. That's it. You can't get more money out of this. So specifically looking at the estimates on page 82, line 1, Ministry Support Services, it looks as though a lot of the program areas did take cuts, and last year even looked like they were underspent. So I'm wondering why there was such significant overspending in ministry support services and why this budget has been increased for 2011-12. So it was higher than forecast and higher than budgeted, and then there's an additional increase. And again, we're not talking billions of dollars here. Nonetheless, it is an increase that I'm asking about. Under the corporate initiatives, which is line 1.7 of the voted expense by program appearing on page 82 of the budget, most of my questions are around that page 82. I'm wondering what these corporate initiatives are. I asked specifically last year, and it wasn't incredibly clear. So, again, the explanation for the 65% overage, which is, it was budgeted for $2,009,900, and it was forecast for the end of the year at 4.3, and next year it's at 4.8, which again is a fairly substantial increase. So could I get an explanation for why it was overspent, and again what is anticipated in being spent under that corporate initiative sector? And if it's funding certain projects, I'd like to know which ones, please. Under the equipment purchases, again, that's under corporate initiatives. What are the equipment purchases that have happened here? And I guess why do they have a priority now? If some programs are taking operational programming hits and are able to deliver less, I'm wondering why the minister felt it was important to continue the funding of the capital. And continuing down, I just want to ask about, no, actually, I think I'll let you answer that section because it's kind of a complete section, and then we'll continue on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The reason for the increases in respect to corporate initiatives are one that Service Alberta no longer provides the funding for a lot of the initiatives with respect to IT, whether it's management. And we are stuck as a department going through a conversion to a different program, different network, and to be able to fund the finalization of that integration, we had to take that out of our own dollars. So that was significant dollars that we needed to do it. We couldn't stay in no man's land. And we identified IT as one of our key cost-effective measures to create access for all Albertans. We've got all our historic sites and interpretive centres. We're now trying to focus more on distance learning like we do so well at Head Smashed In, Buffalo Jump, and Royal Tyrrell Museum. And we're encouraging other sites like Frank's Slide Interpretive Centre and Oil Sands Discovery Centre to utilize that web-based kind of connectivity. So it means that people in other remote locations across the province can have access to that kind of information as well. And in terms of the equipment was used to purchase for the GATE system, our new computer system, which would give online application access and reporting and updates with respect to our community investment programs through lottery. So our CFEP program, our CIP, Community Spirit Donor Program, eventually include our AFA and our Alberta Multimedia Development Fund. So we had to expend money in the previous year to make sure that we developed the system, worked with a supplier to be able to do that, and this year we had to have the actual physical equipment, so that's why it's in the budget.
Honourable Member.
Okay, then I would expect then that the money in this in that area would decrease in the year following, seeing as all that's been paid for. But I also have to make the observation that unfortunately I've been here long enough that I saw the creation of Service Alberta, and there was money transferred from departments to create Service Alberta to pay for all of that admin. And I'll have to put it on the record that I'm a little ticked if Service Alberta is punting stuff back to departments without returning the money back. So I'll put that one on the record, because as far as I'm concerned, that's not a square deal, because each department certainly funded it to begin with. I'm